What is up, guys? Today's gonna be a little bit of a different vlog. I'm gonna be talking to you about my first bodybuilding prep. So I'm about 2 weeks in, and I'm about 12 weeks out from my first bodybuilding competition. To kind of give you some backstory and how I got into everything, I'm gonna go through that process. I also want to discuss you know, uh, keep this like an open and honest discussion about, me and my process through this and kind of what you could expect if you're planning on doing a bodybuilding competition yourself. So, first off, I will be competing in men's classic bodybuilding. I'm going to do a first time competing like category as well as just like men's open classic. So I'll be competing against like everyone. I believe it's broken down into ages and heights. So kind of to get into like my stats and kind of go from there. And just I wrote some notes down. So this is going to be like a full disclosure, like open, honest conversation about like me, my process, so you could get an idea of like what to expect for your first time doing this sort of thing if you're interested, and kind of what like realistically that looks like, instead of like you see all these glorified bodybuilders and people on the internet. It's really not that easy, and it's not that intuitive. Like there's a lot that goes into this sort of stuff. So this is going to kind of showcase as much as I can, just like open honesty. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything, you can leave them in the comments below. So let's just get into it. So I am 27 years old, and I have been lifting probably about since 10th or 11th grade of high school. So like over 10 years now. And I've been skateboarding and playing sports since then. So I was sort of athletic, not the best high school athlete, but I really started picking up lifting competitively and like really pushing myself around 11th grade. And then, I've been doing it consistently, like without large breaks of time, maybe like a vacation or something, life stuff. But yeah, probably nothing of more than like a week off. So I've been consistent with that diet along the way. Like I've never really followed a strict diet plan, just always like try to eat clean or, eat a lot. I was always small, and I could probably put up a photo of kind of me around that, 10th, 11th grade age. I was a twig. Something else that I'm going to kind of get into is that I actually have Crohn's disease, and that's an autoimmune disease, but it also affects my digestion and my stomach. So when I was young, I was diagnosed kind of when I was 11 or 12 years old, and I got really sick. I lost a ton of weight. My like liver was failing, and I had all these medications, and I was really sick at the time. And I got better, and as I got older, got off more medication. I was starting to lift and work out. I was pretty active and healthy. Kind of fast forward to college, and I stopped taking my medication completely, and then I just kept up eating really well and just working out as much as I could. And working out for me kind of became something. At first it was like I want to work out, I want to like get bigger, stronger, I want to like look good for girls, and then as I got older, it was like just natural. And I was in college, doing science major stuff. It was like I was super stressed. So working out was like stress relieving, and I would just go to the gym, lift some heavy weights, feel good about myself. So something always just drove me to like keep pushing myself in the gym. Now even all the way through grad school. So like maybe some people will be like, "Oh, why haven't you competed yet?" And competing is like a really big commitment between the diet, the time, the food. It is a big investment of money as well. The food costs money, competing costs money, the coaches cost money, your tanning is going to have to cost money. Like there's a lot that will go into this sort of investment. So, I will kind of get into that as I go throughout my process. And when I was in grad school, I was got to a point where I like really considered competing because I actually had achieved like quite a nice physique and I was working out all the time. But the thing was, I didn't have enough money because I was a grad student. And I talked to one coach, and he was about like $350 a month online, like no in person, just like sending me meal plans and sending me diet and just checking photos and stuff. And that was like way too much and way more than I could afford at the time. So I kind of like wrote it off like something I couldn't afford to do. And now that I'm out of grad school, I didn't even consider kind of competing until recently. It like all just happened kind of randomly and very suddenly. So to get into like how that happened, um, I was, I'm at my gym, and of course, like everybody, once you start working out for a long time, you see these people like Sebum who are like huge and they're like hitting all these like awesome classic poses. You have like Arnold, like everyone loves to practice posing. So, as you're working out, you want to show off kind of what you have. So, my gym actually had like a posing class, just free, like amateur posing class to learn how to do the poses, the turns, and I signed up. I was like, "All right, I might as well go give it a shot." And then it was me and probably like five other guys. Kind of, I think I was probably the oldest one in there, to be honest. And the coach, who was leading the posing class, was surprised that I had never competed before. And I explained kind of my situation, how I was in grad school, and he was shocked. And he was like, "Dude, you have to compete. Like, you have a great physique." So. Going from there, he's like, "Let me hook you up with a local coach, and talk to him, see how it goes." And then it all just kind of fell into place from there. Local coach, really awesome guy. Fortunately, he is not as expensive as that online coach that I was talking to previously, which is great. So I'm able to afford it. Now I have more time since I'm out of grad school, so I can put more time and effort into this investment. And as I kind of started getting going, I quickly realized, like, I've been lifting for 10 years, but bodybuilding is a completely different beast. There's a lot of mental discipline that goes into, like, you're out eating or you're out with your friends and your girlfriend are having beers and shitty food, and you're stuck, like, and you're like, no, I have to eat clean. I have to eat my meal prep, like, this is what dieting looks like. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of it will be mental, and that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, to like make sure you hit all your meals, and hitting them on time is hard because you have a life. Like, I have a normal job. There's days at work where I'm busy and I can't get my like second meal in, and then I have to like be like, oh, I got to eat this quick, and then I got to get back to work. Like, it's a lot, and you don't realize, like, hitting 6 meals a day is like almost like a job itself. Um, so besides the eating portion of like learning, like, oh shit, this is like a lot to take in, the other thing was posing. I went to my first posing class, and you think, like, everybody thinks they like roughly know how to pose. Like, you see these people posing online, and I went to posing, and I was like, I felt like I was doing everything wrong, and I started to feel like weird because I felt like I knew nothing at all. So quickly realized I had a lot to learn, and in that. Maybe it's going to get harder when I have to hit workouts when I'm on really low calories, but I'm not there yet. So, maybe like cardio and other stuff. Like, have never done really cardio consistently, and now I'm doing cardio every day. So that's been a big change for me. But yeah, so like, let's get into some of like the specifics to show you some like examples of where I've been in my kind of lifting career. So like, here's like an example of probably like, like strength numbers, because everyone kind of wants to know, like, or how strong are you, what's your stats, right? As of right now, like, my heaviest I've ever squatted was 585 for a single rep. I can post that here. um, in terms of deadlifting, I've hit 585 for 3 or 4 reps before. I probably have some footage of that as well. And then in terms of bench, I've never benched more than 315. I've usually kept it at 315. I've hit like 3 or 4 reps at 315. I like to hit the volume at heavyweights, sometimes, especially since I'm trying to like push past that and get into like heavier like maxes. But yeah, 315 is pretty scary, like in your wrists and just like holding it. And I've never felt compelled to like push that, more, but I'd rather like rep like a pretty heavy, like 275 or something like that for 12 reps drop set, and then keep pushing myself for burnouts and stuff. um, but yeah, so like a couple months ago, well, actually probably like half a year ago, I was super diced, and I was like, man, like this is like top of my physique. I was probably like above 190, 190, 191 or so, like maybe in this picture right here. Um, and then this is where I was like, man, I'm like really at the ultimate like time of my life. Like I'm hitting all these crazy strength numbers. Like why haven't I competed yet? And then I don't want to say like my workouts like fell off, but sometimes like life happens and your like gym motivation like plateaus, it goes through phases. So I like wasn't as super motivated as I was, but I was also kind of trying to eat a lot, so I was pushing a little bit more weight, and then I was like kind of creeping into the 200s. Usually when I've done some bulks before, and when I was at my heaviest ever, I was at like 213, and I was like dirty bulking and I was chunky. And then after that dirty bulking phase, I cut down to about, 190 to get super shredded, super diced. And that's kind of where I was here. When I was in my dirty bulking phase, I was probably the strongest I had ever been, and that's where I was hitting my heaviest squat, heaviest deadlift. Now, as of right now, I haven't really pushed a heavy squat and a heavy deadlift. I consistently can hit like 405 for reps, like even a full set of 10, like if I wanted to. But usually don't float above 5 plates anymore, just because I feel like I'm getting old and I don't want to get hurt. And like now there's like more to lose. But hitting those like volume sets at the heavy weight is kind of where I'd rather be than kind of pushing myself to get hurt. Especially now that I'm in like preparation for a show, it's a little different. I have to hit the workouts that my coach wants me to hit. So, that's kind of like where I was, and all of this has been completely natural. Like I've never taken any sort of enhancement drug at all, never done any sort of TRT, no test, no boosters of anything. I've always been concerned that with my health condition that there could be possible side effects, or just like something could go wrong, my liver could fail. So I've always been like strayed away from that sort of thing. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, it's a quick, easy solution to like throw on 20 pounds. But like, man, if you're consistent and you eat right and you work out hard, like you're going to get strong, but you're also going to get dense. And I think this isn't talked about enough, where if you are consistent and you work out for long periods of time, your muscle mass isn't going to disappear. You don't work out for a week, it's like not going to disappear. It's going to stay with you. If you start juicing and then you hop off juice and you're like, you don't really have that muscle density, muscle history in your body, that muscle is going to disappear. You're going to get off your cycle and that muscle is going to go away. You're not going to be as strong. And I'm not going to tell people like what they should or shouldn't do, but for me, it wasn't for me personally, and that's why I'm opting to complete naturally. And the physique that I've built myself over the past 10 years. So yeah, let's get into some of the eating. So I have a full day of eating to kind of show you what the macros that I've been hitting for these first 2 weeks have been. They didn't change over the course of the 2 weeks. So would be a eating day of eating for a training day. All right, guys, what's up? It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. It is a weekday. Today is Wednesday in particular. It is a training day. Today I'm gonna hit chest. So I'm gonna show you what a training day of eating consists like. Macros, all the meals. So I have a normal 9 to 5. So I'm also gonna show you kind of how I go about that. So it's about 8 in the morning. I'm about to have my first meal. All right, so this is meal 1 here. This is kind of like my corner for food preparation and my protein and stuff. So for meal 1, we have 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of egg whites, 1 cup of frozen broccoli, and 20 grams of cashews. So for this meal, I'm allowed to have for kind of free vegetables. So I also toss in some peppers and onions, just a little bit into the eggs for some flavor, a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's it. I'll probably add a little sriracha on top because that's about pretty low calorie, no kind of sugars and stuff. So yeah, I'm about to crush this before I go to work, and then I'll check in with meal 2, and I also have coffee. So. Alright, so it's about 11 a.m. Meal two, half a cup of oats here, 2 scoops of protein powder. Just gonna put this down and get back to work. All right, checking in for meal three here. It's a little late, it's like 2 o'clock right now. Probably would have had this around 1. So we have 6 ounces of ground turkey, a little bit of salt, pepper, 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of broccoli, and a teaspoon of olive oil for some fats in there. So yeah, gonna dig in. All right, guys, this is meal number 4 right here. It is half a cup of oats, 2 scoops of protein isolate, and just water. Blend it up. Try to make it pretty fine so the oatmeal like isn't super like chunky, but usually most time at the end I'm just eating straight protein oatmeal at the bottom. You could kind of see there, but it's fine. Knock it back, finish it up, rinse it out with some water, chug it again, boom, it's done. In terms of macros, micronutrients, what I'm taking right now currently is a multi, turmeric, fish oil, zinc, and biotin. Sometimes I usually add zinc in here, but I ran out, so I don't have that currently, but this is usually my daily kind of intake. My coach hasn't told me to change anything. This is kind of just what I've done for myself personally. So, yeah, no recommendations on that, but definitely recommend a multi for everyone though. Getting in for meal 5 here. It's about like 7:30. I'm about to go work out. So, meal 5, we have 6 ounces of lean ground turkey. We have a cup of rice and 1 cup of broccoli and a teaspoon of olive oil. And for my intra workout, I have 25 grams of carboline, put a little bit of pre-workout in here, as well as 5 grams of creatine. So yeah, and then I'm gonna hit my workout. So today, doing like a little chest and kind of push, chest and shoulders, and then we'll check in with you post-workout for post-workout shake and meal 6. All right, post little chest and like push day here. See how the back looks. Gym lighting's so much better than what I have at home. All right, guys, so just got back from the gym. Post-workout shake is gonna be a scoop of carboline, 25 grams of carbohydrates, and then 1 scoop of protein isolate. Just gonna put that down, probably take a shower, and then come back and hit meal 6, and then I'm done for the day. So, all right, guys, so checking in for meal 6, we have half a cup of rice, we have a full cup of broccoli, and we have a full cup of egg whites here. So gonna put a little sriracha on it, and that's it for the night for me. And just gonna chug some water, and I gotta definitely catch up on my water for today, but that's it. To kind of go over the macros. So of that full day of eating, I consumed about 2,700 calories, 295 grams of carbs, 40 grams of fat, and about 293 grams of protein. Now, I keep this consistently through all 5 days of training. And to be quite honest, I literally eat those meals every day for 5 days. Like, it's usually the same ground turkey, push that all 5 meals. I have mixed it up with like some beef or something along the way, but it's usually always lean protein, and ground turkey is something that I usually prefer. It's better for my stomach. Um, Now, so for the first 2 weeks, full. That was my macros for the first full 2 weeks. No cutting, no changing, or anything. And then in addition to that, I also had 15 minutes of cardio with about like 120 to 125 beats per minute, kind of like heart rate. That's to help, like, with my cardio, vascular health, but also just to maybe burn some fat and other things, burn some calories. Um, Now, since my check-in photos from week one, now I could post those here. All right, so this is my first posing session after week one. For check-in photos, you need to hit front, side, back. Those are your lat spreads. And then you need to hit front double bicep, back double bicep, and ab and thigh. And then the rest of the check-in kind of questionnaire that I'm filling in is mostly about like, did you miss a meal? Did you follow the workout plan perfectly? And this week I missed one meal yesterday. Full honesty. I missed my like fifth meal just because I was running from work to posing, and I anticipated that I was going to come home and then eat my meal 5 and 6, and then I was coming home from posing, and then after posing hit workout, and then it got late, and then after the workout I forgot my headphones at the gym. We had to go back. I ran into some guys at the gas station who were into cars, and I'm shooting the shit, and then next thing you know, it's super late. And then I made the call to then have my cheat meal last night, so I just picked up some food on the way home. Yeah, I guess it's allowed, but 6 and meal 5 together was a cheat meal, so probably enough calories there for both of it. But yeah, so now we're gonna hit some poses. It'll probably drop in my check-in photos. Yeah, my posing isn't perfect. I'm gonna be working on it every week with my coach, so hopefully, we could see a progression, not only my physique, my posing, overall general structure. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. And now it's funny, like after I did my first set of check-in photos, especially when I took my check-in photos, like for my coach right when I started, I felt so shitty. Like I felt like, I don't know if it was like lighting and other stuff, but like there's pictures that I have where I like take in the gym where I'm like, oh man, so ripped. And then I take these check-in photos and I'm like, oh my God, I look awful. Like, how is this gonna like look good on stage, right? And you have to tell yourself like to trust the process, because like you're not gonna like, obviously you're not gonna look like C-Bomb unless you're like super shredded and like huge or whatever. But like when I start cutting down, like it'll start to make sense. So it's like right now it's like you have to like almost like see through like the marble block, and you gotta like chisel it down. But yeah, these check-in photos sometimes is a little bit of a reality check for me. But you got to do it. You got to hit the poses. So yeah, so where that currently stands is now that I'm in, I've completed week 2. Uh, Check-in photos kind of look roughly the same. Now, as I progress into week 3, I actually am not changing any calories with my coach, but I will be changing and bumping up my cardio a little bit. So my style of workout is going to be roughly the same, just bumping up the cardio. Um, Now, in terms of lifts, I'm almost hitting like a push pull legs sort of deal, or like a pull push legs. Usually I hit back, and then I'll hit like a shoulders and chest, and then legs. So my leg days are pretty, quad and hamstring intensive. But I feel like for my push, I probably have like a big chest. So I think my coach is pushing me to focus more a little bit on my shoulders and delts, because maybe that's more of a weak spot for me. So the workouts are going to change for everyone. They're probably going to be unique to you to work on weak points in your physique, in your body, that you need to build upon. Now, I think in particular, I think I need to build my shoulders, and I'm pretty sure my coach agrees. So my, push workouts are more shoulder focused than they are chest. But your workouts will vary depending on your body type, and that's something that you can come up with your coach for you specifically. So I think that's about where I currently stand for this 2 week update. I'm gonna try to keep doing these on the bi-weekly kind of plan, leading up to my show, and then maybe I'll do one for peak week and show day. So if you're interested in like following along with these, and if you really want to know more, let me know. I can also do some like workout videos, but to be perfectly honest, like there's a lot of fitness influencers out there, and I personally find those videos boring. Like I don't like watching other people work out. Like sure it's good to like learn and see other like workouts and say like, "Oh, like that's how this guy hits it. Oh, it's slightly different than how I do it." Or sure, but man, like once you see it's like, okay, I watched their like first like couple reps. I don't want to watch them do like 3 sets of that. Like I find that pretty boring. So I don't think that's content I really want to make. I'd rather be informative and be honest about this process and then let you guys do your own thing, but take this as a learning experience of like what it's truly like to go through this bodybuilding process. So, yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or advice, like feel free to share. I mean, there's plenty of people that are more knowledgeable than me. I'm just getting started here. So, yeah, please leave a comment, like the video and subscribe, follow along. Thanks, guys.